Oh hey, different vlogging location. Oh hey, different bookshelf background with books that are clearly not mine. Oh hey, friends and neighbors. Hi. So it's a new year, and with a new year comes a new set of book reviews, and one of my goals in the coming year is to read more and also to do more of these reviews for you as I finish reading books. I said I was going to do that last year, and I ended up doing 2 book reviews outside of the Ultimate Recommendation Book Club, but we'll try again this year. And I'm going to kick off the year 2013 with 2 books that I've read so far by the same author. Of course, if you've read the title, which is not up there, but in fact down there, thank you YouTube Redesign, then you already know who that author is, but I'm gonna draw it out anyway, because that's kind of what I do. So I've been reading young adult literature for a little while now. I've read all of John Green's books, I've read most of Maureen Johnson's books, and so I knew that Libba Bray existed as a young adult author, but up until very, very recently, I hadn't read a single one of her books. But then I happened to see the audiobook version of Going Bovine by Libba Bray, and because I'm always looking for audiobooks with all the commuting that I was doing last year, I decided to give it a listen. Going Bovine is a Prince winner, as you can see by the festive snowflake Prince sticker. And deservedly so, because this is an excellent book. It's really actually kind of hard for me to come up with words to adequately describe this book, both my reaction to it and the book itself, which is why you didn't see a just finished review of this. But there is a lot of stuff packed into this particular novel. It's the story of a high school boy named Cameron Smith, and Cameron Smith is that kid in high school who is doing absolutely nothing with his life. He is accomplishing nothing. He doesn't particularly care that he's accomplishing nothing, and he's very judgmental of those who are doing something with their lives. You know, that kid. And so when you start off reading about Cameron Smith and all of the stuff that goes on in his life, you kind of don't like him very much. I mean, to use one of my favorite insults from Libba Bray, he's kind of a douche nozzle. And then Cameron is diagnosed with mad cow disease, and not the same mad cow disease that Denny Crane had in Boston Legal, but the kind that kills you. So Cameron has very, very little time to live, but an angel named Dulcie appears to him and offers him the opportunity to save the universe, and possibly be cured. And so, against all odds, he goes to do this thing along with his dwarf friend named Gonzo. And so the bulk of the book is Cameron and Gonzo and a few other various people that they pick up along the way going on this epic road trip, basically. They meet all these weird characters, they discover all of these weird things happening in the world, and it is just a trip of weirdness. And it's so freaking cool. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff packed into this novel, and the best way I can think to concisely summarize this is it's Don Quixote meets Schrodinger's cat meets all the weirdest aspects of every sci-fi story you've ever seen meets epic road trip of weirdness. It's odd, and it will make your brain hurt, but it will also really, really make you think about what it really means to live. Do we live, or do we just exist from day to day? And Cameron has to come to terms with that idea as he is dying. And this book really makes me want to read Don Quixote because there are a lot of parallels with Don Quixote, and I'd like to see how extensive those parallels are. And it's one of those books that you probably have to read multiple times in order to really get everything that's in there, because, like I said multiple times, there is a lot of stuff in there. Towards the end of the story, Cameron takes a really long, serious look at all of the things that he has done since his diagnosis, since he realized that he was dying, and discovers that he has lived more in those few weeks since the diagnosis than he did in his first 16 years of life. And it really makes you think about the choices that we make and how they affect our lives and the lives of the people around us. Cameron goes through more growth than I think any other character I've ever read. He starts out being this really, really unlikable douche nozzle and grows into an actual person who actually thinks and feels and does things with his life. The characters and the storylines are exceptionally entertaining. The writing is funny and smart and just wonderful to read, and the ending will blow your mind. This book was my introduction to Libba Bray, and I honestly couldn't have asked for a better introduction to this author. On the worth meter, I would give this a worth owning new. And even as I was finishing up this novel, I was starting another novel by Libba Bray, Beauty Queens. Beauty Queens revealed to me that Libba Bray has a very, very dark sense of humor. Let me give you the premise of this story. A plane crashes on a deserted island 14 people survive the crash and they're all teenage girls. On the surface, there's really nothing funny about that until you discover that these 14 girls are beauty pageant contestants. There's also the fact that this story is very obviously a satire. Libba Bray pushes the boundaries of reality to their most ridiculous extremes. And you might think, oh, okay, it's a silly story, so we really shouldn't take it seriously. But the thing is, you shouldn't take it literally, but you should take it seriously. And I think that's true of all satires. Even though satires aren't meant to be taken as reality, they usually still have something to say, and that's definitely true of beauty queens. At the beginning of the novel, we get the basic beauty queen stereotypes from these 14 survivors, and it's funny, and it's amusing because they're totally ill-equipped to handle what they're handling and all that sort of thing. But as we progress more through the novels and we watch these girls try to survive on this desert island on their own, we learn more about them and we look a little bit more deeply into their characters. And we discover that they're not just these vapid, superficial girls that we see on these beauty pageants all the time, but they are in fact real people. Each of them has some sort of hurdle to overcome, and each of them is marginalized in some way, and not just because they're beautiful girls. And it's really interesting to watch all these girls come to terms with the thing about them that causes others to marginalize them and grow more confident in themselves and see themselves as real people. And the book really shows that we're marginalizing people that we didn't even know we were marginalizing. And even though it is ridiculous and surreal, there are a lot of things in this book that really ring true of real life, just like, again, any satire. There's a lot of focus on television, and reality television in particular, and how we perceive the people on these television programs. But I think what I take away from this book more than anything are the personalities that develop of these 14 girls on this island, and the relationships and friendships that form between them as well. A bond forms between each of these girls as they get to know each other and get to realize how they can relate with each other. And I love watching them each overcome their own personal demons and dilemmas in their own unique ways. And in addition to all that, the book is just funny as hell. And it really does remind us that despite all of the superficial stuff that we see in the media, there are real people behind that superficial barrier. And that there is something much deeper and much more meaningful in every person than what we see on the outside. In the end, the girls don't really change the world drastically, but they change their own lives and they change the course that they would have taken ordinarily, and that's not nothing. So I love this book as well, and I would also give Beauty Queens a worth owning new. And that does it for this double book review of the 2 Libba Bray novels that I have read so far on 2013. If you'd like to see some more book reviews from me, I am going to try to keep my Goodreads page updated this year so that you'll know what I'm reading and what I think of the books that I just finished. I will put a link to that in the video description. And that does it for this first book review of 2013. Until next time, keep reading, everybody. See you later.